And so the McMahons are in the news for pro wrestling, and I want to discuss that in today's video. So first off, I do want to say thank you guys for coming by to the DLP. We appreciate you guys for coming by and checking out our videos and our podcasts. And so, yeah, if you're a returning subscriber, hit the thumbs up, right? Give us a like. It goes a long way when it comes to content creating on this space of YouTube, and it only takes a couple of seconds, so we would really appreciate that. On top of that, if you are a new viewer and you just subscribed to us, first off, big thank yous to subscribing. Hit the bell notification so you guys don't miss a video upload or when myself or Mike the Biz goes live. And by the way, my name is Tito, and I don't have a fancy name yet. Eventually, I will have one on the podcast as Mike the Biz, our resident heel commentator, Gil Heyman, and myself. We're just fans of wrestling. We love it. We love it, and we love talking about it. And so, yeah, you definitely don't want to miss a podcast episode. So, yeah, subscribe and turn on the bell notification. But anyways, so the McMahons are making rounds in the news again, right? Two McMahons, actually, to, be honest with everybody. And I want to focus on these two articles. So we're going to take a look at them. I'm going to give you guys what I think about the story that's breaking about this. And then we'll go from there. So this is from WrestlingWorld.com. That is wrestling-world.com. I'll have the link in the description for you guys if you guys want to check it out. And in that way, you guys can read it for yourself. But anyways, Vince McMahon officially confirms WWE return date. And one of the key things here that I want you guys to look at when you guys see the article for yourselves is the date that this was posted, April 2nd, 2025. What a better way to make an April Fool's joke than to post an article about Vince McMahon's return, not on the day of April Fool's where we go around and we just start pranking the hell out of each other with jokes and, a bunch of BS. But, it's like the day after, right? So it could be true, right? So at least people kind of guessing on the fence. Now, I'm not going to take too much of the article itself out of respect for the website, so you guys can go read it for yourselves to read the entire thing. But the main plot of this story that broke on April 2nd on WrestlingWorld.com basically just states that, Vince McMahon was coming back as the executive chairman alongside, co-presidents George Barrios and Michelle Wilson to basically negotiate media rights. They're saying that Vince McMahon's best suited for this. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he is, obviously, for the years in pro wrestling and what he's done for the business up until his exit of the company. But I will say this, though. I am pretty sure that they have some really good people in place at TKO and Endeavor to be able to do those things. So they don't really need to enlist Vince McMahon's help at all whatsoever to be able to, do these negotiations, these business dealings on behalf of WWE. I don't see that. Vince had to do the ultimate sacrifice. He had to walk away from his baby, the thing that he created. He had to walk away from it based on accusations and allegations that, have him tied up, in legalities right now. And, I'm a firm believer in innocent until proven guilty, no matter what all the circumstantial evidence are. Until they say he's guilty in court, then, I'll say he's guilty. Right? It doesn't look good for him, but we always give people the benefit of the doubt. Vince McMahon having all these different legal battles and everything has really tainted WWE, and so his exit was needed. It needed to happen. He had to walk away in order to spare the company and all the talent, any complications down the road. So the fact of, people saying that Vince McMahon's coming back, it's always great news to hear that Vince McMahon is coming back. It gets everybody excited on their feet. And which Vinnie Mac are we getting? Are we getting grapefruits Vinnie Mac, or are we getting Vinnie Mac who's makes those ridiculous, odd, scared faces when he's face to face with Stone Cold Steve Austin, or what are we getting? We're always excited for that. So it's something that does bring light to WWE. It gets people fired up, and I'm wondering how many people tuned into SmackDown in hopes of seeing Vince McMahon. I mean, the product is good, trust me, right? SmackDown was great. And when Mike and I go live, we're going to talk about all the things that happened on SmackDown and on Raw this past week. So don't worry, we'll get into that. But yeah, I don't I don't believe Vince McMahon's going to come back. I truly believe TKO and Endeavor that, they have no plans to ever bring him back. And if Vince was to ever come back down the road after all his legal troubles are over and if he's found, innocent, I would believe they would bring Vince in the same way that, just a face, just a nostalgic face to remember the days of the Attitude Era, right? It'd just be one of those things. It really wouldn't be to run anything, right? Vince McMahon is a billionaire who should be just really enjoying his life and just going out there and just enjoying himself for whatever possible outcome could be with his legal troubles. So shout out to Vince McMahon, Vinnie Mac. Hopefully everything goes good with him. But yeah, that's one of the rumored things that I feel like is just an April Fool's joke. So don't buy too much into this. I don't see Vince coming back as executive chairman of WWE. And if it happens, if the stars align in the heavens and it happens, I really wouldn't want this to happen. I would really frown upon that and feel bad for WWE. And I'll explain why at the end of this video. But the next round of news that pops up is apparently Shane McMahon supposedly coming back to have a role with the executive team and to be like a liaison between WWE and AEW for collaborations, right? Man, oh man, oh man. This one is from WrestlingNewsSource.com. That's their website. I'll have their link in the description as well for you guys to check out and read for yourselves. But basically, it's just outlining Shane McMahon is going to be like the bridge between WWE and AEW, right? Like, we already know WWE has a partnership agreement with, I believe it's TNA. So this is the reason why, at the Royal Rumble, we got Joe Hendry. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I can't sing for shit. But anyways, we got to see Joe Hendry in the Royal Rumble and several other talents in the women's Rumble match and men's Rumble match. So it was pretty cool. It's good to see these cross-promotion things happening. And I like to give a shout out to Mickie James, because I like to feel like that, she was part of that coming to fruition, right? Remember in the Women's Royal Rumble match where she came out to her TNA theme with the TNA Knockouts Championship entering the Royal Rumble? That was so cool to see that happening. And so I feel like that really opened up more doors and widened those doors. I won't say open, but widened those doors more for a reality collaboration between promotions. And you know what? It works out great for us as fans, because we can get dream matches that, we want to get back in the past, right? Remember, a lot of us, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who said this, but a lot of us really wanted to see The Undertaker versus Sting. And I didn't care who was set to lose the match. I just wanted to see it. I wanted to see The Undertaker go one-on-one with the fallen angel Sting. And I don't mean to reference, to kill up on Christopher Daniels, but we all know where Sting's character comes from. R.I.P. Scott Hall. We wanted to see that. And you guys remember the 2/21/11 promo where one person coming, into the front of the house, one person at the back of the house, and everyone was like, the guy walking in the front was Sting, the guy in the back was The Undertaker. It was signifying that, WrestleMania 2011 would be The Undertaker versus Sting, and we didn't get that, right? We didn't get that because TNA decided to do a mockery of the 2/21/11 promo. And they did their March promo, which saw the return of Sting as he was set to take on Immortal. But anyways, these partnership agreements are vital today in the growth of pro wrestling. We absolutely need them. We do want to see dream matches between talent that, may not be called up to sign with WWE, but will be brought on in a collaboration effort, with a lot of talent, that's just kind of been shifted around, this year in 2025. It started off, with some craziness, right? We have Penta come over to WWE. We have Rey Fenix now in WWE. And who knows who we get down the road. Rumor has it that, possible Jon Moxley return to WWE. We don't know. We'll see. Be watching WrestleMania 41 closely. But anyways, On this one, with Shane McMahon, I'm not too sure about this one. I really wouldn't just straight up call it, an April Fool's joke or anything like that. Shane McMahon having obviously experience in the business. But, at the same time, too, there's just a lot of people who feel like that Shane is probably going to help Tony Khan and run AEW to refine it, right? Because AEW does have some issues. With AEW, one of the things that I've always kind of been concerned about was the talent of AEW and how they allowed them to do unsafe practices that shelves a lot of the talent. I mean, there was a time where some of the best talent in AEW was sidelined, right? From injury. And, not taking a stab at AEW, I'm just saying, but sometimes I feel like that Tony Khan is like that boss who just can't say no to people. Like he comes off as somebody that wants to, put his stamp of, his stamp down that he's the owner of the company, he's running things, and he's the boss. But when faced by talent, it's like he doesn't know how to say no. So anyways, like, if Shane is part of AEW and goes in there to kind of help Tony Khan run the company and run it in a way that's best for their talent to put on great shows, not just house shows and premium shows, but also their PLEs and everything. I think that would be a good idea. A collaboration between WWE and AEW, I don't really want that, because technically this is like the new wars in pro wrestling, right, between WWE and AEW. And like, TNA is on like the sideline doing business with both partnerships, right? Just to have good business going on. And then you have AEW that has things like Ring of Honor and as a part of them and everything. There's so much that could be gained from these companies, kind of just competing for ratings than having collaboration deals and bringing their talent on. So, no. If it is, congratulations, Shane, but I don't think so. I don't think so at all. And the reason why that, I don't think any of this should be something that we see with the McMahons being involved in WWE is things have been much better. I don't know about you guys. You guys can comment below and tell me what you guys think, but things have been so much better in WWE without Vince's way of doing things, right? I honestly feel like that Paul Levesque, aka Triple H, is doing a great job at running things right now. I feel like, with his wife Stephanie, who's kind of taking a back seat to all of it and kind of, just being that friendly face that's doing side project WWE shows. I think that's a cool thing. I love to see Stephanie in that role rather than, the authority Stephanie. And I don't want to see the McMahons involved anymore at all whatsoever. It's been said CM Punk would have never returned to WWE if Vince was still in control running the company. So I feel like that if this was true and Vince was coming back, I would start to see body language from CM Punk telling us that, his time with us is almost done because he's going to walk away. Like, why would he want to work for the guy that, he's dropped the infamous pipe bomb on and even made it clear that he didn't want to come back until that dude was gone. He said it in his return that there's a certain person that's not there anymore, and that's why he's back in a WWE ring. So there's storylines and stuff like that just don't work. Like, Vince has this vision, but it just doesn't work. And I wouldn't want him to kind of screw up the momentum that WWE has. I don't know if you guys feel it, but there's a momentum in WWE right now that is a positive light. It's good. I like where things are kind of going. The whole Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair and Io Sky, that situation, I think is cool because it's not depicting one person as a face and one person as a genuine heel. It's basically like the Rhea fans against, the Bianca fans against the Io Sky fans, right? Like, each of these women have their respective following fans backing them. And those fans boo the other talent when the other talent is in the ring making a point, talking, hyping up their match at, WrestleMania. So I like that. I like that there doesn't always have to be a bad guy and a good guy scenario. It could just be your favorite wrestler in a triple threat, right? We got that triple threat for the Women's Championship. And then you got the main event night one triple threat match between Seth Rollins, Roman, and CM Punk, which I know some of you guys are going to be like, the favor that was asked. Yes, I know the favor that was asked was kind of crazy, but it makes for a great story. Like how would Roman fare without the wise man in his corner? Would this be the thing that pushes Roman and Seth to form a small alliance in a triple threat match to take out CM Punk so he doesn't win the match? These are things that, we have to look at, especially with WrestleMania 41 right around the corner, right? 14 more days, 2 weeks from today. And so, yeah, we got to get to that point. And then you got John Cena in his heel turn, even though he says, I am not a heel and, I'm not a face and whatever. You got a lot of people that believe that he's going to capture number 17 and that he's going to put, Ric Flair in the dust and have, the most championships. Ric Flair coming on social media saying that he will, he will show up at WrestleMania to stop Cena from winning number 17 and breaking his record. You have those people that believe that Cena will take the title, that Cody would drop the belt to Cena as Cena's last run with the title and retirement. There's rumors saying that, they wanted Cena to win this belt to retire it because they have plans for a new title. I don't know what that would be. And honestly, I'll do a video down the road talking about why I think all these belts is a bad idea and what I would do if I ran things in those companies. So yeah, don't miss that video. But yeah, the direction of WWE is going in a very, 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 very great way. I wouldn't really want to see the McMahons tangle with that.